afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacaster. Me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero of Psych, Defender of the Fatherland. Off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on whole lot in between these. We got Steffenbk fighting for the Soviet Union, Socialism, the 253rd Rifle Division versus the West. We got Helpinghans fighting for Germany, Deutschland, the Wehrmacht. The Gross Deutschland Panzer Division here with Lightning War, Triple Infantry versus Mechanized Support, Jock Rifle and Third Industry here from Steffenbk with Double Infantry and Anti-Tank Grenade Range Bulletins. We got the standard gun, the MD42 start there for Hans. Steffenbk, though, stretches out to the field with a few conscripts moving out for the motherland. Alright, Petrov, I want you to take point. If you get shot at, just scream, but don't point towards us. Don't want the others to shoot at us. Pioneers north at 74-2 there. Grenadiers almost down here for Helpinghans. Engineers moving up here. They could theoretically lay down a bit, but while here to harass, we got conscripts moving about there, and more conscripts heading out there. I mean, no, so far nothing big. Pioneers moving up. There's the consideration for Hans to lay down some sandbags around here, or here, always something to make it a bit more defensible at the point here against the harassment for Steffen, because Steffenbk is definitely going to be hitting the north here. His conscripts, his Frontwigs advancing northwards for the motherland, with the third conscript on the way there for Steffen. First engagement MD42 versus conscripts caught in a bad spot here. Hans did not anticipate Steffenbk to play his conscripts that aggressively, which is a bit surprising, as that is a very common move increasingly from an eastern player to just try and push up here. But we got Cornelius versus conscript close, MD42 trying to run into the house. He falls back in this case because he lacks Molotovs to push them out. He could research, but might want to preserve his resource for other things, so instead he's just going to go for the car front, which makes a lot of sense. In the center, conscripts and grenadiers are dying in not quite equal measure. And the MD42 rather sort of settles the entire discussion. There you go, Calf Point hit. Pioneers actually laying down sandbags to defend the fuel point. And the South Engineers grabbing points here for the motherland. More concentrating northwards there for Steffenbk. And the rest are just running back towards the base. Don't drop the helmet, Pushkin. Otherwise they won't be able to stitch your handbag on, since, you know, we put your hand in the helmet. MD42 carrying the car forward here. Hans obviously know what's going to happen here next. Steffen, this card is obviously a bit transparent, but at the same time it obviously makes sense. He's not going to attack here, so Hans makes the very right decision of switching machine gun to where he's more likely to be attacked, because he's not assuming that Steffenbk is a complete putz. Steffenbk, the non-as magic grab the fuel point, rendered neutral, sitting up behind sandbags here. Pioneers versus conscript. Grenadiers in the south, fighting against the conscripts on the south. We got the Pioneers grabbing the victory point. Steffenbk extending the reach here of the Soviet Union. Up north, conscript they're being suppressed by the MD42, half health. Conscript not going to last long, but he might just be probably pinned before he can grab the point here, though he might get lucky, and he didn't. Conscript need to fight out, he just needs to retreat. We got a mortar out here for Hans pretty aggressively, sitting about to flush out the Russians there from the house. 81mm mortar rounds there, wasn't it 82? Can't remember. I think just 80 actually. Oh wait, mortar fire there, crashing through the house. Conscript falling back, poor condition, need to retreat. No additional conscript for Steffen, no medics on. In fact, he's just filling a bunch of manpower, which in this timing of the match I feel is a bit awkward. And there you go, both medics and Molotovs there, rather late for Steffen, but I guess he's just too preoccupied going on the front line to sort of manage that. So that is a bit unfortunate there, could use his time and resources a bit more efficiently, but that is that. Conscripts they need to retreat, their very low in health. They're going to be wiped out by the Grenadiers very soon. Hans going for a third Grenadier squad there for Germany, the Gross Deutschland. Conscripts need to fall back now. Or not. Looks like using this bait to pull in with the conscripts there to flank the Grenadiers. Grabbing the victory point there. Back here, we could be setting up for some tech. Molotov almost on. Conscripts back there from the victory point there. Got MD42 bravely defends the fuel point here from the Marxists and cuts them down. Back here, we got take up there for Hans. Probably like to make a nice company. Got the support company up here for Steffen. Maximus and Mortars will likely be inbound for him soon and then. Doctrinally, Steffen is going for Soviet industry. An interesting choice here. An interesting choice. He's clearly got long-term plans. You should have to see how Soviet industry works out for him. Quick Molotov there against the Grenadiers. Obviously the Soviets didn't call that, probably called a fire bottle or incendiary bomb or something. The Germans called it a Brandflasche or a fire bottle. That's a fun fact. They need to be careful, hitting the cuff one there. Hans sees an opportunity and grabs it. Very well played there. Good tactical sense and good tactical time. He's going to put some pressure on Steffen, slow down his resource income. And of course, relieve pressure on the front line as Stefan is forced to deal with this. So overall, a move that achieves actually numerous goals there for Hans. That was a really strong move. Maximum all the way there for Stefan. MD42 push back here, strong counter push there from Stefan, but he's not going to have to move forces there. Engineers constantly got Molotovs off there. Molotov is just what it's colloquially known as now, thanks to the Finnish who called it that. Though I do believe it actually saw usage before that in Spain during the Civil War. And that's how sort of things could sort of just catch on in terms of naming, even if they were called a lot of things during a certain period. Comes to the need to retreat, engineers opening up. Grenadiers versus conscripts. Conscripts getting points here. Got the maximum setting up for Stefan. We'll probably need another one since Hansen actually going heavy in the infantry. Of course, the lightning wall, there'll be a bunch of G43s. He might want to consider sending in some light machine guns, so they do have some good long range firepower, but G43s also have their advantages in terms of just firing on the move, which allows you to play a lot more fluidly and mobily, but again, you do lack some of the heavier firepower long term from the light machine guns. MD42 pulling back in here. Hans playing his MD42 quite flexibly. Very good, very good. Certainly the sign of a highly skilled player that they're able to sort of achieve flexibility with the MD42. Some players just like to pop it in, some players and forget about it, but the really good ones keep the MD42 shifting from spot to spot, making them hard to predict and thus be able to surprise the opponent with, an MD42. Also, makes them less likely to be hit by artillery fire. Mortar hanging back here is going to fire it there for Stefan. Got mortar fire on the engineers in the church. Stefan might want to consider taking up as soon as possible. He's bringing up some more maxims here versus Hans. He is definitely need to get away. And up north we got the grenade flanking, but they're getting caught here by Conscript squad. Molotov here would be really good. It's probably going to be needed actually to have a chance here as the G43 wielding grenadiers. Otherwise, no, ends up retreating due to the appearance of a second Conscript squad. Good work there. Southern point there, resecured for the motherland, to the Rodina. We got the 82mm here for Stefan. Repair station available for Stefan, though there's not really much to repair. Take up there for Hans, medic bunker up as well. Molotov here be really good. Yeah, he's anticipating running up. There we go. We got a big push here for Hans. That's a lot of grenadiers, a lot of them, and the Conscripts just need to retreat. They're basically outnumbered up near it. Mortar fire landing down. More Conscripts moving in for Stefan and the 253rd Rifle Division. And take up there for Stefan. Quick push out of T70. Could go for half tech, so for the 6s. Maximum repositioning into the church. MD42 in this case to remain static. We'll see, I think, more usage up here, but with all the grenadiers up here, feels it might perhaps be overkill. We shall see. But there you go. Machine gun repositioning. Let's realise as things are collapsing here. He's going to set up to counter that. Very good work. Plus, there's a mortar nearby which could begin bombarding the house there, since that was where it was last seen. But there you go, Stefan pushing in for the cutoff point. And suppressed, pinned down even. But we got mortar fire landing awfully close to the MD42. Is going to force it back, but he's going to keep them suppressed and pinned until the grenadiers can actually contest. Mortar fire landing down, MD42 versus Maxim. Both getting suppressed here. I think Stefan's going to have the advantage here thanks to the mortar. Except he can't bombard with it. There we go. Heavy damage to the MD42, forces it back. Stefan's got the tank come out, and we can actually go for the T70 light tank right now here versus Hans, and that would actually put Hans in a very uncomfortable position since he's got no anti-tank weapons and no telemines. In fact, all the G43s and the likes, they're pretty much signals to Stefan that telemines are going to be very unlikely. Minesweeper was up though. Stefan, in this case, though, is taking no chances. That is certainly the sensible player who, even in the unlikely case he has mines, he still wants to be prepared for it because, one telemine and that T70 is going to be toast, and that's obviously not worth it. Unless he just has a single minesweeper, and there isn't any mines, he'll still be able to cut off any mines before that, and in the case he does spot it, well, he just saved himself a T70, in which case those 30 munitions become an amazing investment because they just save 200 and something man-pounds 70 fuel. Well, there you go. T7 light tank out for Steffen. Fun fact, the T7 was built because they needed to build something. Not necessarily because it was actually really good. But they just needed to have something to produce while T-34 production, all that was being set up in the Urals. So that's a little fun detail about the T-70. And while production was stopped in 1943, they actually still used it until the end of the war because they had produced a sufficiently large number to keep doing it. Up north, their point being secured. We got the Pak 40 out here for Hans, the Panzerabwehrkanone 40. Prime anti-tank for the German army throughout most of the war, was also quite heavy, though actually lighter than most anti-tank guns in sort of the same, shall we say, caliber. Due to a small, shall we say, trick they did with the gun shield, which allowed that to be a lot lighter, but still pretty effective. Mortar needs to fall back here, pretty big loss for Steffen there to get taken out. Maxim also needs to reposition because that would also be a pretty big loss there for Steffen and that got wiped out. I mean, the force-wise, Hans has definitely got the jackpot here on for dominance, and Steffen's sort of not quite there yet. Ground points in the south. Troops moving back for healing reinforcement. T-7 getting fixed up. But he's doing a good job then harassing Hans, denying Hans vital resources. That is really good there for Steffen. And we got Sapomacop there for Hans, so despite all the harassment there, Hans is still able to keep up there. He's still able to just push out something there. They're still going to take some time to get any armor. And meanwhile though, Steffen is actually dropping fuel down here to just help him push for medium armor. So I mean, both players, they got something going on. Well played there. Counter attack from Hans's Grenadiers, sweeping up here. One squad here, the others moving up. They're sort of trying to ensure there's a sort of wide surface you can attack from as possible, make it harder here for cover to be effectively used against him. Also decreases the effectiveness of Molotovs. So this serves numerous purposes for Hans when he attacks like this. And there you go, we got a repair station up. Obviously decrease the munitions he has to this, but of course it means he doesn't have to manage repairing his T-70 light tank, and that of course is pretty big in its own right. Ooh, that could be a wipe there. On the other hand, if he gets the Grenadiers here, that'd be pretty big. Rough grenade off. Oh, he tries to get them on the retreat. That was really sneaky there by Hans, but didn't quite pay off. Constant pushing up here, taking fire from the MD-42 Grenadiers as well. Hold up behind some old wooden carts. And the South Pioneers pushing ahead here. Note that Hans has also gone for mines troopers in case Steffen's laid down, but so far neither player has laid down any mines, and now both players are suspecting the other bastard of doing it. It's like a Cold War of mines. They're suspecting the other bastard of doing it, but you know there isn't any. There you go, mechanized armor company for 7. You can push out a T-34 from 6 soon enough. In fact, speeded up by a bit there with the Allied supply drop. His T-7 they're falling back, a bit dinged up, but has done plenty here to stall Hans from getting the fuel. That does mean that Hans's tanks is going to be rather delayed. He couldn't in fact be forced into a Stug. Then again, he might just decide that he's going to go for the Panzer IV, no matter the cost. Does come down, I suppose, a bit to how Steffen uses his T-34, 6 and T-70. But if he is going for the Panzer IV, that's going to be several minutes before we can actually get it. Oh, Pioneers were almost wiped behind the cover there, but got wiped. Fritz, ja, I think we're on the wrong side of the Bauweiler. Ja, oh, scheiße. Russischer Panzer. Get out. T-7 rolling back. Maxim might want to get out of the church. Then we got a T-34 from 6 on the way for Steffenbk. Hans meanwhile opting for Panzergrenadier. Coming through some of the more hardened men of the Großdeutschland. He assembles a squad of hardened killers to take on Steffen. Constant moving up. Mortified this. Does a good deal of damage to T-7 fixed up again. Repair station definitely playing a role here. Could grab the fuel drops. In fact, can actually soon go for another T-34 from 6 in the south and use those Grenadiers. And another push slowly towards the fuel, but this time around, holy moly, that went terribly. Hans is prepared for Deutschland. Roughing it off there, and he was actually banking him, trying to escape there, but Steffen was smarter than that, or wasn't paying attention. Either way, it didn't pay off. Conscript tank flank MB42 did not quite go up, but it does force the repositioning in the end. T-70 very, very, very close to it. Soon we got the T-34 because arriving there for Steffenbk. Fun fact, before the war began, the Russians actually had plans to modernise the T-34 by giving it better armour, amongst other things. Sadly, due to the war and the fact they had to just focus on producing as many T-34 they had to scrap that program. Meaning the T-34 which actually planned to have better armour, got stuck with 45mm of armour throughout the entire war. Fun fact. While some of the sort of overall planned upgrades were passed on to the T-35, there are a lot of things that were never really fixed. We can see Hans's Pak 40 is getting wrecked. This is pretty bad. In this case, it could punish him a bit for trying to play for the Panzer IV instead of going for Stug 3G. Stug 3G, of course, here would have been a lot more impactful. We did it! We destroyed it! Couldn't we just have driven over it instead of wasting precious ammunition? No, the physics engine doesn't allow for that. Well, I think it might be a balance thing. A balance thing? Shh! Don't talk too loud, or the Canadians will take you. Panzer IV there for Hans, the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Ooh, nice hitting the Grenadiers and the MD crew. T-34 as always is quite lethal versus infantry. Second repair station up. PS7 of course wants to help effectivize or make, you know, overall smoother repairs of the tanks, and of course with the T-34 which requires more repairs in case of damage. You obviously want that to happen fast as well. So, I mean, overall these are some pretty good investments there from Steffenbk in terms of long term. It's going to mean downtime for his tanks is quite minimal. Hans, meanwhile, there's not doing so much with his doctrine. He got no relief infantry tactical movement. He could consider that, but there you go. Panzer IV going for the T-34. Misses. Fritz on the Panzer first, forced away. Steffenbk has lost the conscript squad. He's down to 2 actually. He needs to get some more troops here. He can't really afford to just run around with 2 conscript squads. That is much too little, in particular versus an opponent with 4 Grenadier squads and a Panzer Grenadier squad. That is definitely trying to do this a bit too much in the cheap in terms of manpower. And a tank grenades up there for Steffen. Work. Cons are being flanked, engaged, and there you go. Panzer IV moving in, pin up machine on the way, shoots and misses spectacularly. In the centre, T-34 dealing with a machine gun. Ooh, house collapsed, MD42 crew almost annihilated. Bad news there for Hans, though slightly good ones as well, which is, it's not a full wipe at the very least. Pushing in with the T-34 See, he's feeling pretty bold since of course he knows the Pak 40 got knocked out, though he's probably mindful still of other Pak 40s arriving from Hans. Truck destroyed, utterly obliterated, shattered like glass? There you go, Panzer counters T-34 shoots, misses. Both tanks are just missing each other liberally. Of course, we've got another T-34 on the way there for Steffenbk and the 253rd Rifle Division. And just flanking in. Contact is almost wiped out. He really should go for some more. There you go, Pak 40 shot there. Grenadiers almost taken out here by the T-34 and all supported by the T-7 light tank. Damaged engine on the T-34. Maxim hanging back. Southern victory point secured. Northern and centre one, in fact, allowing Steffenbk to gain a lead over Hans. T-34 missed. Panzer IV penetrated. Hit. And almost wiped the Grenadiers there with the T-7 light tank. T-34 being pulled back. And over here, healing reinforcement for Steffen's men. Scarred by the fighting against the fascists. And there you go. Steffen finally replacing the lost conscript squad. T-7 is going to have a nasty encounter here with the Panzer IV. If the Panzer IV can hit. Now they hit there. Gained the ace level on the T-70 actually. That's pretty good. 2 penetrating hits in a row. But ultimately it goes to only hits the might of the German Panzerwaffe. T-34 misses. Panzer IV blitzes away. Other T-34 doing repairs. That's a bit of a loss there for Steffen's T-70. Was doing quite a good job. They're putting pressure on Hans's infantry. And at Veteran 3 would have been in fact quite lethal as he gained some action bonuses as it veterans up. Meaning at Veteran 3 it's actually extremely good at killing infantry. Panzer conscripts and mortar crew. But we got the T-34 there to the rescue. In fact, both T-34s to the rescue. Consider go for another one. You could also consider an H-85, or in theory, you could actually go for the KV-8 to burn through some of Hans's troops. And there's the possibility of trying to set up for the KV-2. Though I would suggest supply drops, obviously, but also fuel cache just to support that, because that's a quite big investment and could very well give Hans what he needs to get back in the fight against Steffen here. There you go, another fuel drop on the way. The Soviets received a lot of supply like that from the Allies. In fact, that probably played a large role, which tends to get so overlooked. Logistically, in fact, they received a ton, like trains, trucks, boots, food, actually, also. Because while the Soviets were pretty good at producing tanks, the rest of the Soviet industry was actually severely lagging after, in part because all of the attention was on the war industry, in particular the tanks, so everything else was done a lot less efficiently. So in that regard, the Americans, particularly being able to supply the Soviets with a lot of equipment, helped them out a ton. It's probably also one of the more overlooked aspects of the Lend-Lease. Sicily on the way there for Steffen. Gunners was a conscript in the south. You got the G-33 wielding Grenadiers in here as the conscript with their mercenary guns. It looks like here Steffen is actually now planning for the KV-2, and Hans could be. Yeah, he's going for a second Pack 40. He's planning for the Tiger here. I mean, a second Pack 40 usually means if they go a Tiger doctrine, they're playing for a Tiger, because double Pack 40 just screams, I'm stalling for it. So a bit risky there for Hans, a bit risky. But he does have more tanks. I mean, he does have 2 tanks. He's got this is 3. For Hans, of course, it's a bit more risky. So he's got a Panzer IV, and even with double Pack 40s, it's not exactly the safest of moves. But there you go, rushing with the T-34s, taking much of the damage to tank. Got Panzer first, did Pack 40s coming to support here. You could actually smoke it with his mortar, but I don't think Steffen's much of a smoke user. Then T-34 with conscript level like to get wiped in the retreat here by the Grenadiers and the Pioneers, but if we get that, yeah, wiped. We get the Panzer IV though, and he likely will. That's still going to make up for the loss of the conscript, but he probably really wouldn't want to lose them. But there you go. Now the move for the Tiger tank is actually even more risky for Hans, because his opponent's got 2 T-34s running about freely, able to murder his infantry with impunity, plus of course handing pretty much all of the real mobility over to Steffen, so this is actually kind of bad. Grabbing the northern point here. And more fuel drops. I mean, Steffen's clearly playing for the KV-2, which was actually never produced in large numbers, and apparently might just only sort of been attached like 1 per tank core or something like that. Like, it's a bit unclear how they exactly were sort of organized. They're also difficult to maintain, besides being really expensive to produce, and they're just difficult to make. They also had a bunch of flaws. T-34 rolling aggressive. We got flares down here from Steffen. Or is it a flare from him? I'm guessing it is. Just seems like it's more to look through that one. Oh! Hit a mine! Hit a mine! So there was a telemine there. The one time I didn't sweep for them, he hits a telemine. Good work there by Hans. But the T-34 does get away, which is pretty good for him. You can see double attack round. He's really trying to get that T-34. He really wants it. Obviously, it's eventually 2 T-34, which is bad news for any infantry, and for that matter, any tanks. It's got a decent rate of fire then. Grenadiers comes from the centre. Up north, fuel point has been successfully defended here by a few Grenadiers from the Gross Deutschland. And Steffen's main frontier around his carve point successfully repulses Hans' counter-attack, breaking off the Pack 40s, and then the Panzer Grenadiers southwards instead. Steffen, though, is really closer to the KV-2. Hans, meanwhile, is not too far off from the Tiger tank, and Steffen just decided to go for more regular tanks, or even some KV-8s. He could probably have punished Hans for playing for the Tiger tank. Instead, there's a small chance he could get punished for playing for the KV-2, since they're obviously not quite on the same level. Of course, the KV-2 is amazingly great at smashing apart certain things, if he sets it up correctly. We shall see what it ends up with.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
More mortar fire, more death. Up north, victory point being secured. And sneak up here after the Pack 40s. And then sneaking back away again. Damn this engine. Of course, this isn't a big issue, so you can just pull back into the repair stations and his tanks are more or less immediately fixed. And there you go, got the KV-2 out there, Clement Vorishilov, with its 152mm gun. Hans, though, is not too far from the Tiger tank. Ooh, Grenadiers almost wiped out. KV-2 shoots, and there we go, full wipe on Hans' Grenadiers. Full wipe. Both of Steffenbk T-34s are now virtually 2. That is really bad news for any of Hans' troops and tanks. Might be setting up here to just bombard everything and probably try and take out the Pack 40s. Hans now able here to go for the Tiger tank, the Tiger. And there we go. Arriving to try and ruin Steffen's day. Of course, in this case, he got lucky with Steffen playing for the KV-2, and there we go, it's set up. Not the best shot there. And there we go, full wipe on the MU-42, utterly annihilating it. Almost about to lose his T-34. And there you go, Tiger tank shoots through. That's not good. That's not good. And there you go, T-34 goes down. Steffen there, slipping a bit about there, punished by Hans. Good job there, punishing Steffen there for leaving that T-34 unattended. He actually just used infantry to scout ahead. Oh, there you go, Tiger tank flanking the KV-2. Direct hit here for the side armor by the Tiger tank. Said hit under the gun. KV-2 shoots back, penetrates. Field gun opening up, so the Tiger being pushed back here. But the KV-2 has nonetheless suffered gratuitous damage from the Tiger tank. Panzer bringing no support from the Grenadiers, pushing away the conscripts from the centre. So what will Steffen go for next here? Having lost one T-34, now there's a Tiger on the field. And if Hans begins to pull on that Tiger tank with Dukes of Panzer Force, then Steffen's going to be in some real potential trouble. In particular, since Hans still has a Sergeant Infantry complement and Steffen's just got 3 conscripts with no upgrades. A fun fact about the KV-6 is that turrets had a high tendency of jamming if the turret actually got shot, which is something the German crews quickly figured out and just began hammering away at the turrets, causing them to jam, at which point they could deal with the tanks a lot more easily. Fetching your feed down the mortar, and it is securing up north. Steffen trying to harass. We got the T-34 sent us off. Mines being laid down. Going ahead again. We might try and snipe out some packs if we can with that. There we go. Gonna need some repulse here by the T-34 from the 6. More fuel drop for Steffen. I'm guessing he might be playing for the IS, well, not the IS, but the A-35 here. Shot penetrated there on the Tiger tank. He switches away from the Tiger tank towards the mortar. CoH2 is about to lose the engineers here. Almost got on the mortar there, but I'm not entirely sure why he's focusing on the mortar rather than the Tiger tank. That seems like a weird prioritization there by Steffen. I mean, the mortar can't harm the KV-2. The Tiger tank can. But put the Tiger down to half health roughly, but the KV-82 has also suffered a bit there. North got T-4. Oh, assaulting a Pack 40 here, catching it off guard. Bad news for Hans. Very bad news. If he steals that, could be pretty awkward there for Hans. That could be pretty awkward for the Großdeutschland. Almost got the Pack 40 here, troops reinforcing healing. But put on some pressure on the south. We got Pioneers cleaning up the mines there. Very good. Tiger tank with 10 kills. KV-2 with 6. And we got tactical movement here from Hans. So there's a bit more usage of doctoral abilities. Very good. So good. Oh, Tiger tank here gets a shot across the bow there for the T-34 on the 6. How very sporting of you, Jürgen. Giving some a warning shot. I was actually trying to murder those conscripts over there. Oh, God damn it, Jürgen. Oh, he's going to lose that T-34. It's going to get Panzer first, and he's going to not be able to get it out of there. He can go for the H-85 now, or he could go for more T-34s from 6s, but there definitely needs, I think, be some kind of decision there soon from Steffen. Victory points wise, we also got 70 with a fat lead over Hans. A very fat lead. Back here, reinforcement, T-34 almost reaching the field. He actually does make it there. Hans did not pursue. Possibly worried about something hiding in ambush, or possibly tank destroyers. Steffen continues to float. It seems like he is looking rather indecisive for some reason. Rushing in the KV-2 there. Oh, direct hit on the mortar. Destroying it. That is now an MD-42 and a mortar utterly broken by the KV-2. Map control wise, so things are really beginning to be in the favour of Hans, who's just got more infantry, he's using it more flexibly, whereas Steffen starting to be seeming to suffer from the tunnel vision. He's just focused on the centre. We got a T-34 on the way there for Steffen. Just bringing up more armour. Great, though again there's the Tiger tank. I'd probably recommend an H-85 as well. They push into the north, KV-2 moving up to support. Another conscript wiped out. Not good there for Steffen. Pack 40 shoots, bounces. Though in the actual war that would not happen. The KV's armour series was all just roughly around 60mm, which wouldn't have been an issue for a Pack 40. Well, here's the target weak point. Chase it. Oh, yeah. Needs to pull that one back for some serious repairs. And very quick there with the attack ground trigger, but victory points wise, Steffen needs to sort of put more emphasis on the other parts. He needs to stop floating as well. He needs to get out more troops and some other bits. Going for another T-34 from 6, not an H-85. I mean, considering how he's playing increasingly, the H-85 would probably do him a lot more good. Going for another engineer squad. No more conscripts though. Hard work there in the KV-2. Mortar spotted. KV-2, they should be able to put carrying fire here. If he can hear it. Another T-34 almost stand there. Another shot from the KV-2, which also misses the mark. That is a bit closer than the first one. Field gun has been wiped out as he tries to clear out the Panzer IV. And gets wiped before he can do so. More T-34 rolling in to try and push back the fascists. But Steffen certainly feels a lot more on the defensive, despite in some ways, having had a larger force. He's just not able to increasingly capitalise on very well versus Hans, who is doing a lot better. Now he's rushing in the Tiger tank. He's actually blitzing the Tiger to the front line here just to make sure it hits in time. There, almost got the T-34 main gun out. Main gun out. He continues onwards. Will the Pack 40 support? KV-2 takes a hit from the Tiger's 88mm gun. Tiger tank half H of 2 engineers being shredded out in the open. He's destroying the SIS-3. He's not too worried about the KV-2, which, if not set up, has a very slow rate of fire. T-34 moving back to the Panzer 4 supporting. Pack 40 moving in as well. Here, this is looking pretty bad for Steffen. Pretty bad. Hans is making a very strong and concerted effort. Pushing ahead. Here we got tactical move for the infantry line to quickly push up. T-34 securing the flank. KV-2 down to half health. Panzer 4 moves ahead. More shots fired. T-34 ambushing near the Panzer 4. They could be able to get it. Even if 22, and there you go. Gained ace level, then destroyed. Tiger tank very close to 82. T-34 from 6 back in the base. Shot fired from the KV-2. Tiger tank takes it. And Panzer looking for the other T-34 from 6 almost got it. Tiger tank is now 22 more accurate. More accurate and with more range. Almost got the KV-2 there and gets it. 15 kills in the Tiger tank. Panzer 4 blitzes away, escaping the clutches of Steffen. Huge hit there. 4 conscripts obliterated with a single strike from the Tiger tank. Panzer is going to be sweeping in there in the wake of the Tiger tank. They move and secure the territory. The Tiger tank liberated for the fatherland. Are we really calling this liberation? Yeah, I mean, we're liberating it from inferior genes. How noble are we? Truly noble. I don't think that's very noble. Shut up. Just do it. Tactical movement again. Gonna do this up north versus the conscripts. Tiger tank there, almost good to go. With another issue to fire on the way there for Steffenbk. Almost got the target, or T-34 there. Bad situation, I'm there. You go. T-34 down, T-34 down. Now with this, Steffenbk is in a lot of bliat. Deep bliat even. Hans's Tiger tank stands triumphant. Steffen's forces very humbled. Some very good target handling there by Hans, and also good use of tactical movement. But there you go, the 85 that I feel arrived very too much late here for Steffen, much too late. You know, had this been a Panther, Hans would have likely lost, because the Panther just cannot perform like a Tiger tank. Despite probably being more expensive to get, to be honest, and more time consuming. The Tiger tank just performs better. Even if you can only get one of them, you usually better off with just one Tiger than any number of Panthers. Another Panther for there for Hans. By this stage, I don't really see Steffen mounting much of a comeback. I mean, he's just sort of put on a defensive mindset there. His forces are too limited, and Hans just got too much. In particular, the Veteran 2 Tiger very much remains a... oh. Got one zone, that's not good, but very much an obstacle for Steffen's comeback here. A very large obstacle. And in fact, it's almost Veteran 3. It's actually been some times since we've seen any Tiger tanks on the channel, I believe. And certainly only more times since we've seen actually hit Veteran 2, which is a shame. Almost got on the maximum there. Go GG, game over. A loss for Steffenbk, a victory for the fatherland, Germany, the cause Deutschland. Some good play from Hans. There were some struggles in the early game. This Steffen outmaneuvered him, I think, in some points really well. Made good use of the T7. The issue was as the game went on, that Steffen sort of struggled. He wasn't quite keeping pace with his resources, making he just used it inefficiently, and then sort of the handling of his units tech, I think, sort of also undermined him as the game went on. Plus, he overfocused in the centre, didn't put enough emphasis on the rest of the map as the fight went on, allowing Hans to basically outmaneuver Steffen, also make better use of his resources, and push ahead with units like the Tiger. So there were definitely some mistakes made there by Steffen. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to the friends, share it with everyone. Also, a big thanks to Dion Russell for supporting the Propagandacast and donating. And if you'd like to support the Propagandacast to keep it going, you can do so. Links in the video description. PayPal or Patreon either helps me out a ton, so hope you do it. Anyways, this is Imperial signing off, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.